Former President Mahama, at a recent lecture, accused the government of diverting funds meant for the fight against COVID-19. Speaking in Kumasi, Mr. Mahama maintained his stance and dared the government to institute an independent audit on how the funds were used.
And I'm saying that what did we do with all this money in 2020 and 2021? Parliament presented a motion to ask for a parliamentary investigation into how the COVID funds were used. Who were those who threw out that motion? It's the NPP administration. The only way you can prove me wrong and say that that money was not used for election 2020 is to allow an independent forensic audit into how the money was used. So prove me wrong. Let's have an independent forensic audit into how the monies we received during the COVID pandemic were used. Simple. Tietia, no wahala.
Mr. Mahama also accused the current MPP-led government of abandoning work regarding the constitutional review started by the previous administration.
I agree with those who have called for a comprehensive review of the Constitution after 3 decades of existence. The Constitution must be subject to change and amendment and should be carried out to meet the contemporary challenges and exigencies of the time. It is a belief we gave life to in the form of the constitutional review process, which was initiated by our late President, Professor John Evans Atta Mills of blessed memory. It is regrettable that, as with almost everything else, this government promptly has abandoned the work we did in regard to the constitutional review process and have failed to move the process forward. We in the NDC commit to continuing and finishing the process to ensure that the 1992 Constitution evolves into an even stronger document embodying the hopes and aspirations of the ordinary people of Ghana.
He says many fundamental principles that guide Ghana's democracy as dictated by the Constitution have come under threat under the current MPP administration.
And under the current government, many fundamental principles that should ground our democracy as dictated by the Constitution have come under threat. There have been aspects of the behavior of this government and the leadership that mimic the activities of brutal dictatorships. Freedom of speech, which we have in the past taken for granted, has recently become an elusive commodity. Mistreatment and harassment of opponents and critics of this government, arbitrary arrests and detentions, abuse of power, state-sponsored violence, thuggery and killings, attacks and clampdown on media practitioners, malicious prosecutions, closure of opposing radio stations are but a few of the anti-democratic ills that we are having to live with today.
The National Democratic Congress has officially inducted the Professional Forum as its affiliate, and the forum will help the party in policy formulation and grassroots mobilization. President of the group, Ambassador Sampiale, called on President Mahama to lead the party again.
Our researchers, led by Dr. Justice Ahatu, has gone throughout the 4 corners of this country and has told us that if elections were held today in the NDC, Your Excellency John Mahama would win without any doubt. We are professionals. We don't believe in hearsay. We have data to support that. Anytime the NDC decides to hold a presidential flag bearer race, Your Excellency John Mahama, you win hands down. It's on this note that I stand in front of you as the president of the NDC Professionals Forum to ask you, Your Excellency, if you have any doubt not to contest, please here and now change that doubt. We urge you to contest, and we will go into the trenches and make sure that you win the presidency of this country.
Citations were presented to former President Mahama and other executives of the party.